For real?
Let's say that again right now. Say that again real quick.
Like
I have
today
another one. I just don't have a stand.
In 2024.
Oh boy.
This is an engineer thing.
Yeah,
I knew
right?
an engineer would point it out.
This will be fun.
We're doing a podcast with an audio guy.
Like I said, you're over 200 episodes and you still haven't upgraded.
The beta 57 that
Let's
you're
make
talking.
it.
That's wild.
All right. Well, while we're on microphones, before we even introduce you, why don't you name the top 3 that we should be looking at for D to
For a podcast,
pick up?
see what I use? Custom. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mine's
you got
custom,
the Reds.
though. Mine's
Yeah.
custom.
I like that.
Wait, let me show you. Let me show you the
black
back.
on black. So
It says Redz on the back.
oh
I see that?
wow. Okay.
It's pretty dope.
No, it's kind of blurry for me.
It won't be
But
blurry.
you won't see it with
the
that beta
post.
57.
Woo! It affects everything.
I won't see it with the mic. your mic ruins your video quality.
Yo, let me tell you, this is.
I believe
gold.
everything this man says. So
This episode is gonna go viral just because of that microphone.
Okay.
wow. Just because it got pointed out.
I'll take it.
He
I'll
escaped
take
for
it.
204, and on the 205th,
The 205th episode is the first time somebody noticed.
his mic got murdered right out the
That's
gate
wild.
too.
That's
There you
wild.
go. This is how it went. Good morning, Deriki. How you doing, man? Yeah, I'm good, man.
I'm good. Thank you.
As soon as I hit record, yo, let's talk about that mic.
It's funny.
Oh, that's funny, man. You do have better mics. I just want to point that out. That Deriki does have some better mics. For some reason, he doesn't.
I have a really good mic.
use.
I have $1,000 mic that I'm not using right now.
You want to tell us why?
Show off. Yeah, I know.
I don't have
because he doesn't have a
have a
$30
stand.
stand. He said,
Yeah, exactly. You guys are killing
Those are the guys who spent all the money on the
Plus my
rims
hair is
and
on
ended up with.
You guys are
Can you
pointing out
imagine?
my poverty.
Records
Oh my
into,
God.
hey, meet my superstar producer friend that records into a $10,000 U67. But when you go to the studio, you have to hold the microphone.
Yes.
We blew the budget on the mic.
Yeah, on the mic, right.
No
So you have
budget
to
for the
hold it.
stand, and we
Oh,
may not have
gosh.
a cable.
Wow.
still
May
trying to
not have a
figure
cable.
out the cable. That is funny.
That's beautiful. Well, I gotta say,
Like I
man,
haven't seen that happen before.
it's
You know,
normal.
me
It's
first.
it's expected. I'm sure you've seen a lot of things, man. This really started my day on the right note. Actually, I was feeling like right there in the middle, just pushing past my 50%, and that got me to about 95.
50% at
Mike's
10
bad.
o'clock. You know, that's rough, bro.
And it took some work to get there too. You know those days, man. But that's okay.
I know. No, I
Forward
feel you.
still. So if you don't know the voice by now, we're talking with comedian slash.
This man said
It's because-
comedian.
You know when you talk, because he's Jamaican. You know when you talk to people from different places, something comes out in you. I gotta deal with.
This is what I'm dealing with this morning. Rough. Pressure.
I'm gonna stop
no,
talking.
help
I
me.
can't stop laughing, man. Wow.
Yeah, what was you know when your parents got frustrated
Oh,
with
no.
you? My mom would always say, G's on peace.
G's
What
on
would you
peace.
say?
That was a
pretty
big one.
common.
Or, Jesus, thou
Oh,
sons of David.
but hear my trials.
Merciful Father.
Oh, that's getting intense. Yo, okay. I actually was talking about this the other day, and I want to ask two men who are from the similar upbringings, because I was like, I said this thing that my mom and my grandmother used to say to me, and it was like I made it up. My mom used to get mad at me if I was smiling when I shouldn't be smiling. Like if I'm supposed to be, she'd just discipline me, and I'm supposed to be upset. And she'd say this thing like, look at, like basically your face looked like a pleased puss. You guys ever heard that?
Yeah. My mom would say that a lot.
I'm like,
too.
what? What's wrong with the happy cat?
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, kin teeth like please
Like a
puss.
please
And you're
puss.
like, wait, what? What's a please puss?
I want to stop you there because I know Deriki is about to.
That's funny.
Welcome to the show. Oh, not this again.
Yeah.
Wow, professional. Professional.
Yeah,
Welcome
no.
to the show, Mr. Jason Reynolds, also known as Redz Engineer. Thank you for the great intro. It's good to have you back, man. It's been a
Good
minute.
to be back. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. It's hard to keep up with you, bro.
It's hard to keep up with myself, to be honest.
I imagine.
Pretty tiring.
You're like straight back off the road, Like it's you on like
And
aren't you
I'm
on like
going
a
back.
back to back.
Like, I literally just found out that I have to fly to Miami on Sunday for rehearsal.
For
Yeah.
rehearsal.
I don't even have a flight yet. Today's Wednesday. It's great.
Is this common?
Sometimes. I mean,
It's just-
if this. So we have this big tour coming up in the fall. Most people have probably seen it by now. It's the Marley Brothers Legacy Tour. So it's in all amphitheaters across America. We start in Vancouver, end in Miami. So literally across America.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like 32 shows or something like that, or 27 or some
Wow.
quite a big number to cover in like just over a month.
Wow.
So, you know, one of the coolest things is like working with Stephen Marley. He's such a perfectionist musically. And obviously, a lot of people probably have also seen the Bob Marley movie by now. He was the musical supervisor in the movie. And a lot of people don't realize that all of that music in the movie was actually re-recorded for the movie. So that's the genius of Stephen Marley, like how he has preserved the legacy of his father in such an incredible way. Not just you know, non-musical ways, but especially in the musical way, where you know, he sounds. They've got the sound. He's got the sound, not just his voice, but the band as well. He's responsible for. So, you know, it's really cool to see that unfold in front of your eyes. But what that does require is a whole lot of rehearsals.
I imagine so. Yeah.
You know, this just and rehearsals in between doing other shows and doing other things as well. So I think a lot of, like, we have some other shows coming up the first weekend in August.
Okay.
So it's not exactly like we can just dedicate that time to prepping for the tour. So we got to sort of find these pockets of time where we can make it happen. And of course, we're just there to support the incredible artist and band. Just make sure that rehearsals go smooth, and you know, how you rehearse is how you perform.
Yeah.
So we rehearse with full production, like with in-ears, with, you know, like it's a show. Try to simulate show environments as much as possible to so that they can rehearse with energy and get what they need to get out of it, really and truly, in sometimes limited periods of time, right? So
Right.
you know, because the crowd doesn't care how much time you have for rehearsal. They just want a great show, and they come and like, oh, they only had 2 days. That's unfortunate. Like,
you better.
They don't care. They want it to sound like the record, or even better in some instances. So
I agree with that. Yeah.
Do what you can with the time you have. You know.
Yeah, and then you.
Speaking about
go
the
ahead.
time that you have, though, how do you juggle? Like, I mean, you have a week that you've planned out, and then all of a sudden, someone's like, "Yo, you got to go to Miami at the end of the week." How do you juggle your personal life and your professional life with all that chaos?
I always sort of use this analogy, like, most people think of balance as sort of this bar, and you've got this fulcrum in the middle, and both sides have the same amount of weight, right?
Right.
That's actually, in reality, in real life, that it doesn't work like that. In real life, you got to move the fulcrum, because sometimes it's going to be overloaded on the work side. So if the fulcrum is in the middle, you don't have balance, right?
Yeah.
But if you move the fulcrum closer to the work side, all of a sudden it's balanced again.
Right.
And then if you move sometimes you're going to overload the personal side, because trust me, when I take vacations, like like we go hard, you know what I'm saying? And we travel, like, you know, we were looking at what we spend on travel annually. We're blessed to be able to spend a little bit more than what the average person would probably be able to spend in a year. And I honestly don't say that from you know, I'm very humbled by that, because I remember a time when that wasn't possible, you know, and we've worked hard to be able to do those things, you know, like the whole family, we're going to Sri Lanka for a whole month.
Oof, wow.
in December, you know. So sometimes you're going to overload the personal side, because the work, and it's just how it is. It's the nature of the beast. A lot of the times the work side is more overloaded than the personal side. So when you do get an opportunity to overload the personal side, again, it's just moving that fulcrum, right? To make sure that you can, because you don't want to lose. At the end of the day, my kids don't care what I do for a living. They're actually great at keeping you humble. Like they'll come to shows. Like they came to a show in Cleveland the other day. My son was there for 5 minutes. He's like, "All right, I'm ready to go." I'm over it. You know what I mean? What? You do something for Stephen Marley? Whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
So used to.
You know,
Cool
your
story,
kids.
Dad.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Your kids don't care. They what they care about is making those memories and those moments.
True.
I mean, they cared more about the fact that they could take off school in the middle of the week and come to Cleveland and hang out.
Yeah.
Right.
Versus like Cleveland too. Most of us would be like, Cleveland, bro, that place sucks.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? For them it's like, I'm going to the
it's a
US
getaway.
in the middle of the week. I'm missing 3 days of school, right? Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's
I
those
remember those
memories
days.
that are a byproduct of what you're able to accomplish on the work side that they'll remember. So I try to remind them that, you know, like my daughter said to me yesterday, I got home on Monday night. And then I was up at 7 a.m. I got home at 1 a.m. on Tuesday morning, essentially.
Okay.
And I was up at 7 because I'm producing a festival here in Toronto. So I had to be on site for the stage load-in yesterday. And she's like,
Right.
where are you going? At like 7:30, I was late. And I was like, I'm going to work. She's like, yeah, but you just got back. And I was like, yeah, but you eat a lot. So, you know, I gotta go pay for food. No, but you know,
No, I know
you
what you're
remind
saying,
them
though.
that
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
sacrifices that you make
It's for you. It's for them.
so that they can enjoy. So I think that's where the key is. If you don't take the time to overload on the personal side, and you don't, you know, take
That's
those
a big
trips
tip.
or do
Yeah.
things with the kids, or you know, go to Wonderland in the middle of the week, or pull them out of school and
Yep.
and go do something cool, then it gets rough. You know, then it gets a
Right,
little tricky.
right.
Absolutely,
But
yeah.
if you take the time when you can to do as much stuff on the, like my son's really into sports now, so like he's just getting into. I was worried at one point. I was like, is this kid even gonna like this? Like,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
But now he's into like soccer. He loves Messi. He's like all of a
Okay.
sudden, like it like literally happened overnight. He's into every sport basically, and it's, a
Okay,
lot of it
okay.
has to do with, you know, his friends at school. They're playing sports in their
course, yeah.
recess time. They're talking about hockey and
Yeah.
stuff. You know, so to be able to, you know, like I flew back from London recently, and he wanted to go. He wanted to go to a Leafs playoff game the day I came back, and I was like, "That's a little
wow.
much."
Wow.
But I took him to,
Yeah.
or it wasn't a playoff game. Sorry, it was like their last game of the season or whatever.
Okay.
But then I took him to
Okay,
the
okay.
Raptors game the next night and said, "You know what? We
Okay.
can't go to
Yeah,
Leafs
trade
tonight,
off.
but let's go to Raptors tomorrow."
Yeah.
And you know, I've become good friends with John Wiggins, who is one of the vice presidents of the Raptors, and you know, he was able
nice.
to go down on the court, take a picture, and
Sweet.
just like he enjoyed himself. You know, he was jumping up and down
important,
and
yeah.
cheering during the game. Those memories are important. That's what they remember.
Absolutely.
But
Never
it's the
forget, yeah.
sacrifice that pays for that, right?
That's
Right.
a really
It's, you know.
good, in-depth breakdown. And I love the way you explained it too. Like a lot of times, as you mentioned, we think work-life balance is just like this equally. Now I'm here. But you explained it in a way that's really, really important for us all to just keep in mind that you got to move that fulcrum. It's not always the same balance, but it has to end up making sense for whatever your
Right.
situation
And-
is and
and-
the people around you. Yeah.
You know, for somebody who works a 9 to 5, it's probably a little bit different because they can
A lot different.
they can walk out at 5 p.m. and shut it off.
Right.
Yeah.
For those of us who don't have that option, you know, like we were talking earlier about sayings of like our parents, things our parents used to say. One of the things my grandmother used to say is make hay. You have to make hay while the sun shines. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
so I took that into my business life because, like, if anything, we have the very fresh memory of COVID where there was no sun shining and no hay
Right.
was being made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
It was a different time.
So
Yeah.
you know, you come out of that and you go, okay, I have an opportunity. I mean, not only is it a commitment to support an artist like Steven, and you come into that with an understanding that there are going to be times where you'll be called on for certain things.
Right.
Excuse me, that you can't necessarily get away from. So you come into that already with that commitment, and and trust me, the honor of being a part, playing a small part of that legacy is so incredible that you'll do whatever it takes anyway.
That makes
But
sense. Yeah.
True.
Yep.
but when you come into that, you understand that okay, there are times when I'm gonna have to make these sacrifices, but the benefit is that it's hay, right? Like,
Right.
sometimes I walk into my house and go, the goose is home, and I just laid a golden egg. Right? It's like, just make sure I remind everybody. Daddy Goose is back. Right? Bringing home the bacon. Right? You know what I mean? So no, but it is a reality. Like, it's not. And to have the support of your partner and your kids who allow you to go and do that, and they understand, that's huge too, right? Because it could be different. It could really be different.
Yep.
But yeah, to basically be able to go and do what I love every day is sometimes it's kind of surreal to me. Like, even now,
Imagine.
15 years into it, I'm sitting in an airport
years.
going, I wonder if they knew I'd do this for free.
Because it's not only the golden egg; it's the passion too that you have for it. Like this.
Well, that's it, right?
Yeah,
I could easily be doing something just to make money. I mean, how many people do that, right? Like, you got to think that, okay, if the Don Valley Parkway is jammed from 7 to 9:30 every day, right? Because you have like a 5-minute window. If you miss like 7:05, you're sitting in bumper to bumper traffic, right? So but that's jammed with people who are going to jobs that I would argue that maybe 97% of them aren't passionate about what they do for work, and they don't like. They actually don't, like you said, Duriki. It's like they don't even like what they do, but it's a paycheck, So they sit in that car. That to me is sacrifice. That is real
That's
sacrifice.
True. Yeah,
you sit in a car for 2 hours, so you got to get up. If you think about it, right? Because when I just got into this industry, people would say things like, "You should get a regular job," or like they didn't understand the sacrifice that it took to build what I built. But you see, sacrifice is manageable and tolerable if there's reward at the end of sacrifice.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? If you come from a Christian background. The cross was a massive sacrifice, but the reward at the end of that made it easy, made it worth it, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because there was this massive reward at the end of the sacrifice.
Yep.
If you think, like, to me, to sit in a car for 2 hours, like, and you don't even have to live in Barrie anymore. Like, if you live in Richmond Hill, you're in 2 hours of traffic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I just moved to Canada, if you lived in Thornhill, you could get downtown in 45 minutes.
Right.
Good luck now.
Impossible.
It's 2 hours from Thornhill, from Highway 7. Right?
Yeah,
So
it's crazy.
to sit in, so you gotta be at work at 9, so you gotta wake up at 6, right? Because you gotta get and if you have kids during school time, that's probably 5 a.m. you gotta wake up, right?
True. Yeah.
You gotta get lunch ready. You gotta get the kids ready to get out the door. Then you either get on this GO train or you sit in this car for 2 hours, right? To get to work for 9.
Yep.
You work a full day doing stuff you don't like with people you don't like, right?
Yeah.
And then at 5 p.m. finally you get to go home, but you don't get home till 7. So by the time you get home, you've already been up for almost 12 hours.
14,
14 hours. More than, because 14 hours. My math sucks. I'm an audio guy. So you've been up for 14 hours, so you're dead tired. So you don't get to spend time, and your kids got to be in bed by like 8 anyway, because they got to get to school the next day. So you have an hour to spend time with your kids, right? And then, thank God, the weekend's here, but I got to do groceries, I got to do laundry, I got to clean the house.
True.
Right? So I still can't do anything anyway. Right?
Yeah.
And then if you go to church on Sunday, for some people, that's like a whole day thing. Especially if you're Jamaican. You go to Jamaican church, it's like 5 hours. Right?
So block off the day.
You got, right? So when do you spend time with your family? Oh, in the summer? No, you still got to work. Right? For me, when I looked at that, I was like, that life isn't for me. I'm sorry.
I understand.
I'd rather take 3 weeks off where I'm with my kids every day, and we have all day every day. Just coming out of COVID, I remember in January of 2021, right? Like we're just really kind of coming out of COVID. This is 2022 because 2021 was still screwed. But 2022, I was worried that the Canada was going to shut down again. We literally jumped in a car and drove to Florida, and on the way there, called a realtor and said, "Yo, I need an apartment."
Wow.
Oh wow.
Right? She found us an apartment. We
Yeah.
signed the documents in the car. I think we signed the
Wow.
documents in
Docu
Pennsylvania
sign.
somewhere.
Somebody had a
And
go
then-
bag ready.
and then you go there for a month, and it actually, funny enough, it wasn't even that expensive, right? But it was
Mm.
just the freedom to be able to do that is why I do what I like.
Makes
It's not
sense.
about the big shows are great, and the standing behind the console, there's still a little hair raising moment.
Yeah.
You know, when the show just starts and the crowd's screaming and you get that moment of, whoa, I really get to do this.
Yeah.
All that's great,
Yeah.
but even better than all that is the fact that if I don't want to do anything today, I can play PlayStation all day. The freedom, like the
That's
freedom, to
freedom.
make that
That's
decision.
freedom.
Is,
Yeah.
that's what it
true
is, man. You
freedom.
know what I mean? And even greater to that is we're chasing this idea of true financial independence, which now becomes
Right.
that to me is like where real true freedom is, because now then I can make a decision that I just don't want to work for a year.
Your time is money.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sit down and
Your
chill
currency
for a
is
year.
time. Yeah.
Because of things like passive and residual income
Mm-hmm.
that we get to experience sometimes in music and
Right.
building
Yeah.
businesses out in different aspects of what I currently do. That's the goal, right? The
Yeah,
goal
yeah.
is Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and Jeff Bezos, right? Like
Yeah.
that's you know, and what we do is kind of just the vehicle to get to that ultimate place where you're making money while you sleep. Like
Right.
that's you know, and
Yep.
for a lot of musicians, you look at, man, I've seen so much. Like Shaggy's told me about like his publishing checks, and I'm like, dang, bro. Like Sean Paul doesn't have to do anything for the rest of his life. He could
Set,
literally
right? Right.
sit on a lounge chair by the pool and continue to make millions of dollars, right? So
Yeah.
that's really and truly, like, I saw those things, and and it's not just in music. I mean, shout out to everybody who's going out every day and putting the work in to be able to accomplish that for them and their families.
Create their dreams.
Yeah.
I think that's what I saw and knew that, man, the regular life is more of a sacrifice than
I agree. Yeah, I
than
think
the
we
sacrifices
both
that,
agree with
you
you
know.
on that.
Sacrifice of your dreams.
Yeah, and that's a dark, sad road to be on.
I mean, when people do
Yeah.
say it though, they usually do it from a place of love, right? Like they.
Oh, like
they're
to get a
worried
real
about
job
you
thing?
and yeah.
Is it
you
though,
know,
or
and
is it?
sometimes?
Yeah, okay. I argue it could be insecurity in what
Sometimes.
they're doing because they don't see it
100%
possible.
it is. I feel that, but I think in their brains they think they're doing it out of love
Yeah.
and fear that you're not going to be okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I
if you
understand
choose
that.
the,
And
the wrong path.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes they just don't know. You know, but this
Right,
is
that's
100%
true.
ignorance. You
and
know
it's
what I'm saying?
new.
Like,
This is new. This
even
is newer.
you take my parents for example.
Right.
Last summer, was it? Yeah, I think it was last summer. I was tour managing. I took up tour managing Steven for a while because I had to, right? Like
Okay.
our tour manager had a stroke on the
Oh,
road.
man.
And
Yikes.
like,
On the road.
Like I literally, yeah, we were on the road. And I had been supporting him for a while. Like he had sort of slowed down after COVID, been dealing with some health issues. So I took on
Okay.
most of the work anyway. But then I took on all the work while engineering. I took on tour management for a time to keep the train on the tracks, right?
Yeah.
And my family, my mom came with my kids and down to visit. We were playing the Aretha Franklin Amphitheater in Detroit.
That's
And
cool.
so they came to visit because it was close, right? 4 hours
Yeah.
drives,
Right.
drove down. And I think that's
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
the first time in 15 years she really understood what I did and how important it was. She like actually said to me, she's like, wait, like you're really important. Because they would be standing in my office
No, I
and
get
I
it.
couldn't finish a sentence. Like every time I went to say something, somebody called me on the radio or somebody called my cell phone, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
to be like, hey, we need this, we need instructions on this, we need direction on this. This band member needs to get to the hotel. This one needs to go to T-Mobile
Like
to fix the SIM
everything,
card.
eh?
Like it's, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think probably that was really the first time that she understood. And then doing the reunion
blessing.
tour at the end of last year. My mommy ain't coming to no Shaggy concert. So for all these
Fair.
years I'm working for Shaggy,
Fair
she ain't
enough.
coming to that.
It's not
Right?
happening.
So
yeah, fair enough.
so excuse me, reunion tour was the first time she came and saw like, oh, this is like a big deal. Like, you know, this is like you're in an
That's
arena.
cool, though.
This is
Yeah.
a big show. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So I
yeah.
think I think a lot of it's
Proud
just
mom.
ignorance. Like they just don't know.
That's
You know what I
fair.
mean?
That's
Yeah.
understandable too.
100%.
They're coming from different places, and the opportunities that we have now are way more abundant, but also just more understood in our generation. So we're going for it in different ways.
Yeah.
But that's cool, man. That's a blessing to be able to have your mom come out and like see you,
sure, man.
your passion, how it connected your lifestyle, your dreams, and your family's legacy, your legacy for your family. That's huge, man. As a matter of fact, the next time I haven't heard it in years, I guess that means we're doing all right. But the next time someone comes with that real job nonsense, I'm just going to play that clip. I'm going to play that clip of when you
Well,
went in.
you know what's funny? I was talking to my best friend yesterday. I was driving home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he does bespoke suits, like he design and make suits. So like
Could use a couple of those.
he does. Oh, he's excellent. Like
Okay.
Shout him out.
Please.
Nevin Anderson.
Hit him
So
up.
it's Anderson Bespoke.
Need a suit.
Yeah, Anderson
Nice.
Bespoke. He's like
Canada?
He comes to you. Yeah, he lives close to me. He lives in Shelburne, but he goes all over.
Okay.
I mean, he flies to the States too. Like
Oh,
he
he's good.
does
Nice.
some of the guys on TV. Like he does TV anchors. He does
Nice.
Oh wow.
that guy that commentates for the Raptors, Paul. I can't remember his last name, but bald head guy. Anyway, he does
Okay.
all
Yeah, I
his
know
suits.
exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
so
Nice.
he comes to you, takes your measurements, you pick everything. Like it's fully bespoke. Like
Nice.
Right.
and then he'll deliver it to you when it comes, make any adjustments, all that stuff, right? So
Dope.
he just did he says he gets a referral, right, from a
Okay.
client, right? And he goes to this massive house in Richmond Hill, right? This guy's getting married.
Okay.
So this guy's a young guy in his 20s, right?
Okay.
Massive house. And this is the house that they just used to run the business. This is not the house where he lives,
wow.
okay? This
Got
is
it.
like,
Okay.
and you
Okay.
know, like if you're from the Toronto area, you understand what massive house in Richmond Hill means, right?
Right,
You
right,
understand?
right, yeah,
Like that's money. This kid's a YouTuber. So it's 4 of them, full time in the business, all 4 friends.
Wow.
He has 7.1 million followers, subscribers on YouTube. Okay, this is what he does full time, and has enough money to purchase a massive house in Richmond Hill just for content
Just
creation.
for content.
Right?
Ah.
Right,
So
yeah,
so
yeah.
I was saying to him, how the conversation came up is like, I'm like, yo, I gave my son a PS5. Okay, I basically bought a new PS5, the
Yeah.
new slim version, so I can travel with it, and I gave him my old one.
Right.
I said, right? He loves playing video
Dedication.
games. So I'm
Yeah.
like, my parents used to say to me, you can't spend all day on video game because that's not going to pay no salary. Well, as a matter of fact,
Lie to myself.
Right?
Yeah.
Times have changed.
as
Yeah.
a matter of fact,
Yeah.
It's so true.
right? But again,
Yeah.
it's as is like I was telling my mom one day, like they obviously our parents did the best that they could with what the
With what they
information
had.
they had,
What they
right?
had.
Of course.
And we
Yeah.
turned out great. So,
Right.
Yeah, and applause
but I
to
think
them.
it's for us to now have enough grace for the next generation to support their dreams and understand that really and truly anything is possible, because
That's true.
like if one of the things I want, like I think about all the time is I feel like I never want to be that type of parent, adult, mentor that forgets what I was like as a youth, as we're saying.
Yeah.
Happens so often.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was,
Tell us about it.
I pray that, listen, God, don't allow
make them
not
like
even
me.
20% of what the things I did to be
Yeah.
revisited on me as a parent.
Right,
You
right.
understand?
That's a
Like,
fair.
to be problem.
Exactly, yeah.
Like so, I think
problem.
I think that, bro. My generation, we were talking about it on tour the other day. Some of the things we did, like, bro, we used to roll the car out of the driveway and
Oh,
down
God.
the road. Cause back in the
Hey.
day, a standard.
I
you
want to
only
do
Ricky.
a whole podcast of this.
Bro, you
because
can't-
Ricky, we were in it
you
together.
and Anthony could go
We were in it
on.
together.
Go on.
The
I'm
low creep,
telling you,
but here's the
like-
best part: $2 gas, put it right back where I found
Bro,
it.
I am telling you, no difference. A friend of mine, one of my closest friends, his dad used to drive a
Sorry,
Pajero,
Uncle Kenneth.
a diesel Pajero. So you have to start that like 3 streets over, Dread, because that would wake up
It'll
the
wake
whole
'em up.
neighborhood when you start
Yeah,
that vehicle, right?
That's so funny.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I think
confession is
as
good for the soul.
We look at like this next generation of. I think what we instill, the qualities that we instill in people that we mentor, our kids,
Right.
anybody who's looking, when people ask me like, what do I need to do to get to your level? It's not about the what. It's about the approach. It's about the work ethic. It's about the sacrifice, like we were talking about. Those are the qualities I want to instill in my children. I want them to understand
open-mindedness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I want
true.
them to understand that it doesn't come easy. It might be simple, but it's not easy.
Right.
Because that's one of the things I said to Nevin when we were talking about it yesterday. Yeah, people look at content creation. I look at you guys grinding it through 205 episodes. Bro, like, you know how many people quit at episode number 5? You know what I'm saying? Like it's not 100%. Like that's the and you probably quit and restart like.
Oh, I quit and restarted every time, man.
Exactly. You quit after
God.
every episode.
First,
after this one, you're gonna be like, Ricky,
when I started off this foolishness,
I'm done.
I was picking up a paper like, so Jason, tell me in your first tour.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like,
robot.
but it's the willingness to
Push through.
start again and fight through again and know that each failure doesn't define you if you don't let it, right? Like you got to get up.
Yeah.
What defines you is the fortitude to restart and try again and go again and
Go again. Yeah.
when the government hits you with the massive tax bills, you go again.
Go again.
Shout out to Justin Trudeau who's mashing up my pockets.
Boy.
See?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Whole
my
nother story there.
But yeah, no,
But
you know what I'm
you're,
saying?
you're spot on. You're
100%.
spot on. And what's important, especially for a gentleman like you who's in a career that not a lot of black men are, managing tours and running the audio for really large superstars. I stress this a lot to anybody I talk to is that the music industry is filled with different positions that a lot of kids don't understand.
know about.
And you might want to be in the industry, but you might not be the greatest performer. You can't sing or play an instrument. There's other ways that you can be very successful in the music industry without it. And if you don't get that exposure that you might have gotten, that I've gotten, that Anthony's gotten, you would never even know that this career is a possibility. So I do love that you are mentoring because I think more gentlemen from our community need to show and expose kids, all of the options that are available in this industry.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think shout out to like Brandon Blackwell, who inspires me to do so much more. Like right now, I'm having conversations with Guitars Over Guns to bring some at-risk youth into some of the shows we have on the fall tour to sort of see what's possible. Again, exposing people to this idea that it's not just about the musicians on the stage who it's 100% about, or the artist.
But there's other
Because
options,
it's so important. Like I always try to remind people and remember that without the sacrifice of the artist, none of us have careers, right? So at the end of the day, I am inspired first and foremost by the work ethic of a genius like Stephen Marley. I'm inspired by the work ethic of Shaggy. I've been around these guys and I've seen exactly what they put into being where they are. And there is no secret and no denying that they deserve to be where they are because of their willingness to put work in. And I probably said this because I talk about this all the time. I've seen Shaggy wake up at 10 a.m., right? Go straight, or wake up at 9 a.m., go into a rehearsal at 10 a.m., because we rehearse at his house, right? Nice. We'll be in rehearsal till 7, 8, 9 p.m. at night. Oof. He'll take a 1-hour break and be in the studio, in the booth, by 10, 11, and that he'll go till like 4 or 5 a.m. in the booth.
Wow.
And then sleep for a few hours, and then rehearse again, because we're rehearsing for tour.
That's work, yeah.
Wow.
I've seen Stephen Marley do the same. I've seen Stephen leave rehearsal, go straight back in the studio, and listen. For just as much as it's a sacrifice for us to be away from our families, it's a sacrifice for them.
Right.
Right? Because and the truth of the matter is, they have to put even more into making sure their body doesn't break down, making sure their voice doesn't break down. They can't get sick because their name is on the marquee.
True.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas I can, if I get sick and miss a show, somebody can go fill in. Who the heck's gonna fill in for Stephen Marley? He's Stephen Marley. Like, it's his show. Who's gonna, like Shaggy used to always say it, he's the only one that can stop the show from happening. If he gets sick, the show doesn't happen. Anybody else, we've had drummers miss flights. We've had drummers show up to the airport and have don't have a visa. So the front of house guy had to play drums. Like, we've had everybody miss shows, but the artists can't. So let's shout out first and foremost the artists who make that sacrifice and work hard to be able to, for us all to have careers. And then the next level, granular to that, is that there's a whole ecosystem that now has to support that artist, and the bigger you try to go and the bigger tours you try to do, that ecosystem grows. So with the Marley Brothers going out into amphitheaters now, we've grown from being a 2-bus, well, at first when I started with Steven, 1 bus, right? Then we grew to 2 buses on band tours. And then we grew the crew. So then we went on the Traffic Jam tour, which was 3 buses. Now we get to the Marley Brothers, which is 5 tractor trailers and 9 buses or 8 buses or something like that. Right?
Wow,
so the bigger you go and the more you push and the more epic things you try to accomplish, right, is now the need for a greater support system. Right? So getting kids to understand that, and like I said, Brandon is the start of inspiring that. He's I mean, I think I've told him, so if I haven't, then he'll see this podcast hopefully. But he's done some incredible things in his career. He's out with Alicia Keys as front of house right now. And he sort of inspired me to I've been mentoring for a long time on an individual level, but trying to increase that, and this opportunity with Guitars Over Guns is incredible because what better way to help at-risk youth, especially stay off the streets.
Incredible,
and to see that there's a future in music outside of just maybe you can't sing, maybe you can't rap, but you've got great organizational skills. There's a position on tour for somebody who doesn't understand technical things but can organize. Like, we have a production coordinator all she does is take care of coordinating production, keeping production organized, booking flights, booking hotels. There's room for that. There's a place for that. Right? So it's an incredible opportunity to show the next generation that, hey, you can, maybe it's not being a great engineer, or there are guys like,
there's something there.
Even like making the stage tidy. Like Davin, who tours with us with Steven, he's our tech. He's incredible. I mean, you might not want him behind a console, and
fair enough.
He'll laugh when he hears it. But I wouldn't want anybody else responsible for my stage, patching my stage. He's incredibly detail oriented. He's the reason. Like, he is the engine behind what we do with Steven. Like, he loads the trailers, unloads the trailers. He's our logistics guy. Like, he is our engine. Like, I don't want to go back to doing that stuff. I like just being an engineer, right? So there's room for that, and it's incredibly important and Veer will say the same thing. We laugh about it because Veer and I will be standing up and we go on to festivals where there's all these other bands playing. And we laugh and go, they don't have a Davin. The reason why we can, I'll tell you this quick story. Like, we did a festival in Virginia Beach the other day, Point Break Music Festival.
Nice.
And the band that played before us, they went 10 minutes over because they were late getting started, and the stage manager was like, okay, we'll give you the time. He came to me and he said, well, we're 10 minutes behind, right? And our tour manager was like, well, we're going to, tour managers, we're going to play our full set. We're not going to cut our set short. And I'm like, yo, relax. I was like, listen, man, we were supposed to have a half an hour changeover. I said to the stage manager, I was like, listen, if we do this changeover in 20 minutes,
Yep.
start on time, and recapture your 10 minutes, right?
Yep.
I'm going to need a bottle of Johnny Walker Black. So
Fair
he's like, because I mean, 10 minutes overtime in a festival is like almost catastrophic, right?
Yeah.
Because you're running against really tight curfews and stuff, right? So,
Yep.
so he says, yeah, no problem. Like not thinking that he would literally have to go buy a bottle of Johnny Walker Black, right? So I walk away from the conversation and I'm chuckling to myself, and Veer is there with me, and I go, he doesn't know that we have a David.
We have a
You understand?
David.
David is our Swiss Army knife, right?
Wow.
So when I go to David and I say, listen, we need to do this changeover in 20 minutes, he goes, yeah, no problem. We literally had 5 minutes to sit down and have a conversation, started on time, so midway through the set, he brought me a bottle of Johnny Walker.
Wow.
Right?
No
like,
choice.
Beautiful.
Yep.
A lot of people look at a tour and they don't see the position that David and the role that David plays is many times a thankless role, and it's not the glamorous role. He's not the engineer. He's not the superstar engineer mixing front of house that everybody goes, Veer, Danny Ram mixed this show and this is the best show I've ever heard, right? Which is common because Veer is incredible. It's not, Redz is the monitor engineer on that tour and there's all this press and you see Clang posting, Redz is doing this and Digico posts and he's not that, but let me tell you, if he's not there, we're in trouble.
Wow.
We're in trouble.
Strong supporting player.
Trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, he is the player. I think in many cases, I will tell you that we support him, to be honest. Like, he does it, bro. Like, sometimes I walk onto the stage at call time and my console set up. I have no idea how he got there. I don't know how he got out the trailer. Right. I don't know who flipped it. I don't know who... I walk up and I wire it, but it's there. You know what I'm saying? So... It's for those kids who may see this and they go, well, I don't have the ear to mix, or I don't have the technical aptitude to stand behind a console and mix. Maybe I don't have the eye to be a lighting designer. I'm colorblind. Well, there's a million other things that you can do that in many cases are way more important, because we don't have faders to push if it's not for David.
Yeah, wow, that's big.
Signal doesn't even get into that console if it's not for him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So shout out to him. He's one of my greatest friends. I met him when he was still in school, and I'm real grateful that we get to travel the world together now and do this together and
live the dream.
We feel like this Marley Brothers tour is sort of a victory lap for us, because we've invested so much time and energy into building to this point, and part of being, for guys like us, David's from Mauritius and obviously I'm from Jamaica, born and raised, and for guys like us, our music doesn't really play in venues like Budweiser stage, for that at one point was in many cases a pipe dream, like if you ask David, that was like, oh yeah, maybe it's possible and maybe it's a dream, but to now be able to embark on that journey as headliners, for us is like, not only is it a great feeling and a milestone moment for us individually in our careers, like our front of house guy Veer is from Trinidad, I'm from Jamaica, Davin's from Mauritius. Cool. So many of our crew they're people of color and minorities and come from small islands and places where we would probably never have dreamt that doing a tour like this would be possible. Apart from that being milestone moments for us, it's also about inspiring that next generation, that those kids in Jamaica who were where we were at one point, who never thought that this was possible. Because reggae only play in small venues, right? Like we don't play, reggae don't play at Budweiser stage. Reggae don't play at Jiffy Lube Amphitheater in DC, like, you know what I mean? But now to be on a Live Nation tour, a headline tour, 5 tractor trailers of gear, like we're bigger than a lot of mainstream tours. Like that's just the reality. I was out with TLC and Shaggy, and it was only 3 trucks, right?
I saw that.
You know what I'm saying? So for us, it's accomplishing it for ourselves, but it's also inspiring the next generation. People like David Heron in Jamaica, who is incredibly talented engineer, who just needs inspiration to dream that one day you're gonna get your chance too.
Yep.
Like that's what it's about, man. That's it. I say this all the time. I heard it somewhere. I didn't make this up because I'm not that smart. I just teeth things that people say that, right?
It's a borrow.
It's like
Repurpose.
purpose is why you were put here, right? Impact is what you do while you're here, and legacy is the only thing that you can leave here, right? So I think it's important to understand that people look at we live this quote unquote glamorous life because we're touring and we're traveling and we're doing these big shows, but we also carry a heavy weight of responsibility. Some of us, not everybody.
Fair.
I think more so people of color carry this responsibility because we understand that it never had to be this way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we carry that weight of responsibility. Like I know Brandon does because I've had many conversations with him.
Take it seriously.
Other engineers, Emmanuel, Jeremy Nagandu, who you should probably at some point have on your show. He's a Canadian engineer. Just does Victoria Monet. Just smoked Coachella at 25 years old. Like it's so incredibly talented.
That is incredible.
For us, it's more than just that. It's more than I had the best mix at Coachella. But the reason why I do it is so that another 25-year-old coming up. I met Jeremy when he was 16. I mixed the album launch at Global Kingdom Ministries, and he used to go to church there. And I remember him walking over to me and introducing himself and saying, "Hey, listen, I want to do what you do. Will you mentor me?" But there was something different about that because people ask me that all the time, right? But he had this fire in his belly, like this is, and to see what he's accomplishing and has already accomplished at 25. I didn't even start touring when I was 25, bro. Geez, man, like, yo. and to see what he's doing and to be able to have a front row seat and see that, and he's in demand from everybody. Like everybody wants Jeremy. He's out with Davido. He does Victoria Monet. He does everybody, man. Like I call him Mr. R&B. Because I feel like everybody in R&B wants
he has got the sound.
Incredible.
It's if you talk to him, you'll get that same answer of why we do this. It's first and foremost to build something for our families, but most importantly, to it's that weight of responsibility of the guys coming behind us.
That's huge, man, and that's an incredible purpose, as you mentioned, to be. Not only inspiring or inspired by what you're doing yourself, but inspiring the next generation, inspiring us. Like I'm inspired by listening. I started off by saying you're an engineer, comedian, but also you're a motivational speaker, man. We just sat here for 45 minutes.
Listen,
and you dropped jam after jam.
Ready,
Yeah. Well, you came to the right place. Let me tell you.
Tony Robbins, look out!
Redz Robbins in the house.
Redz
Robbins.
I think somebody already has a trademark on the Red Robin thing, but we can try a thing.
Yeah, true.
All you have to do is get one level higher.
We put the Z's on both.
Yeah.
Exactly. There you go.
Put the Z's.
Circumvent the trademark.
Yeah, man.
But you know what? It's
that's incredible.
I think the Bible. I'm not going to quote it, but experience worketh wisdom, right? Experience teaches wisdom. So I tell people all the time, like it's not that we are like what. I take Vera and I, for example, as a team, as front of house and monitor engineer, right? And arguably many people have it to say the best in our genre, or some of the best. There are obviously other teams that are incredible. So
of course,
this is not to boast or to take anything away from anybody else, but we do have a track record, right? Yep. And it's not that we're better than anybody else, to be honest. It's just mileage, bro. Like there is a lot of dirt on these tires. Like we've been through so many different scenarios that it's rare that we face something now that we haven't already been through.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And then on the flip side, because of that, I believe our secret is that nobody prepares like us. Nobody, bro. We've been talking about Marley Brothers going on tour and what we would do if we ever got a tour like this for like 5 years. Like
Wow.
5 years ago,
Right.
we were talking
Ready.
about, yo, bro, if we ever get an arena tour or if we ever get an amphitheater tour, we'd bring this PA, we'd bring these consoles. This is how we would do it. So when
Wow.
you see something executed as easily as it is right now, this is not now.
It's been here already.
It's preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah,
we were
yeah,
carrying ourselves, even when we were playing 500 clubs, we carried ourselves like we were playing 50,000 stadiums. And we still do that up to this day. We approach our tasks as if this is the biggest thing on the planet. Because in my mind, it is anyway. It is the biggest thing on the planet right now for me.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So maybe
You're in
who knows what happens 2 years from now? Who knows what happens 5 years from now? Who knows what happens 10 years from now? Where this industry will take us? Hopefully,
True.
we grow. We have grown incredibly with Steven over the past 6 years that I've been here, and we continue to grow. Maybe it takes us in a different direction. Who knows? But at the end of the day, it's the same approach. It's the same approach from day one, the same standards, the same preparation, the same energy that we've given to the gig from the first moment, which is why we're here now. So
Says
you
a
know
lot.
that's really it. We ain't special. We're not better. We just work hard, and we're better prepared for sure than most people, because we put in the time. Like Natasha says to me, my wife says to me, I talk to Vera more than I talk to her. It's a fact. Like, I can't even argue. I'm just yeah, it's true. You know what I mean?
Building.
She actually suggested, she's like, leading up to this Marley Brothers tour, she's like, I feel like you and Vera are going to be talking multiple times every day. You probably should just move in together. Just like get a place. Just together. We'll come visit. But you guys get a place together so that you can just talk all the time. Like,
grind, yeah.
bro, we call each other.
She supports it though. That's
Just
huge.
understands that there's no other way. Like, we have a massive amphitheater tour coming up. There is no other way. We're gonna have to talk 15 times a day sometimes. That's just how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
so I think it's just the willingness to work and constantly work, sometimes without immediate reward too. That's another thing that's good to talk about is you could do a whole episode on delayed gratification.
That's
true.
like,
Absolutely.
that is
you know
a
what I'm
fact,
saying?
man.
Putting in work and never seeing the results of it and the crazy part is sometimes seeing other people come in and reap the benefits before you
What
who've
seems
been
like
tilling
quicker,
that
at
soil.
least,
A man was walking your
Yep.
field and picking your corn, and you're like, wait.
Yeah.
I don't even get to taste my own corn yet, but I'm
Yet.
here
Yet.
watering and tilling soil, and I'm up in the tractor from 7 a.m. to use a farming analogy, right? Another man coming and picking fruit and sitting down under the tree eating sweet apple, and you're like, wait, you know what I'm saying? I mean that happens
That's
a
life.
lot. Like even now, even if we were to be very transparent, there's members of the crew coming into this Marley Brothers tour that are earning more than us, that have been there for a long time. There's people that come and reap from the tree that you've taken care of, the ground that you've tilled, and the tree that you've planted, and the tree that you've watered. And you see other people coming in and being able to reap of that fruit. You have to understand that this is just how life works sometimes. Your day is coming, and when it comes, trust me, when your day comes, you won't have room in your barns to store
room enough to receive it.
Yeah, you won't have room because you're gonna have to build bigger barns to receive what's coming for you. You just have to really stay focused and stay grateful and stay humble and understand that when your time comes, it's gonna come. But sometimes in the middle of it gets difficult. It gets difficult to see other people coming and out earning you in a situation where you've been toiling for a long time. But you just have to understand. That's why the why. Going back to what we started with, the why you do things and
purpose,
what your motivation is, has to be in the right place. Because if it's not, I mean, let me tell you, I tell people all the time, if you're chasing money and wealth, wrong industry. Don't do what I do, because you're going to get frustrated and you're going to quit probably about week 3 is when you'll be like, screw this, I'm going to go do something else, right? But a mentor of mine said to me a long time back in the day, he's like, yo, chase greatness and the money will follow.
Oh God, I'm gonna put up my right hand now.
Chase being
This
like,
is the
Chase
benediction,
being
man.
great. I'm
You want to raise a quick offering before we?
Yeah, I take PayPal.
Oh no.
Transfer.
I'm sorry. As the guest speaker, if you're the guest speaker and you come to our house, you raise the offering for the house, and we give you a small
TD
portion.
takes up his own offering.
Oh, I'm sure he has his own brinks that follows him, man.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's
Yeah.
the truth, right? And I've just lived that to be true.
It's huge.
I've always just wanted to be the best at what I do. I want to be first and foremost the best version of me. But
Right.
if I'm honest, I want to be the best monitor engineer on the planet.
That's fair.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
like my goal is if I come into a situation, right?
Yep.
Like you take reunion tour, you get musicians, and the best compliment for me is
Yeah.
when an artist or a musician walks over to me and say, "Yo, that's the best monitor mix I've ever had." I will sleep like a baby that
That's
night.
I feel that.
Right?
I feel
the
that.
driver could be running
That
over rumble
matters.
strips. I will sleep
You're good.
like a baby in that tour bus.
Yeah.
Because isn't that what we want though? Isn't that what we chase? We want to know that the work that we're doing is recognized. And I'm competitive, bro. I want to be the best. I want to mix everybody. Like every time I walk into a venue, I want to mix people under the table. I mean, it's harder at monitors because it's the same people hearing what you're doing every day. But for Veer, I remember we played Red Rocks, and a man walked over to Veer and said to him, "I've been coming to this venue for 30 years, and that's the best mix I've ever heard in this venue." I was like, "Blah!" Right? Like, I'm like, yo, that's what. And even as the monitor engineer, because Veer is my best friend, so. That is a compliment to the whole team, because if you understand what goes into a great front of house mix, it starts on the stage, right? It starts with the band first of all. You got to have great musicians, and then you have to have great instruments. Like the drums have to be tuned right. They have to be the right skins, the right everything. The tone from the guitar players has to be right. So it starts with the musicians, then the tone. Then you have to pick the right microphones, and then the monitor engineer has to give the band a great mix so that they can give their greatest performance, which in turns reflects in the front of house engineer being able to deliver a stellar mix. So when somebody says that to him, you could have an ego and be like, yeah, but if you can't do that without me, the monitor guy. Or you have the attitude yo, that compliment, it was given to him, but that's us. That's us. So when we walk into a venue or we walk onto a festival, we're not there to smile up with people. Bro, this is the World Cup final. I came to kick your ass.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't come here to smile. Yeah. After we're done playing, and after we've done mix you under the table, and after we done slap you around the place like a rag doll, then we can have a drink and we can laugh and smile at that point and talk about how great life is. But before that, I'm not there to make friends, bro. This is go time. We come in there because at the end of the day, you're gonna remember that set from Stephen Marley or Damian Marley or the Marley Brothers. You will never forget the day that the Marley Brothers or Stephen and Damian or Stephen Marley whooped your butt at Cali Vibes or wherever. Cali Root, you name the festival.
Right.
We are coming there, as Vera always say, but you have to be careful now because Instagram will ban you. We here to kill people, you know. We ain't come here to smile.
You're going for blood.
We're coming for your throat, bro. And you can bring, like we've watched these bands, you watch these bands bring pyro, fireworks, bring every gimmick you have in the book. Because when we roll off Rastaman Vibration, you're going to feel that slap in your head back. What the hell just happened? Yeah, that's what we're here for. So it's that competitive spirit. I mean, like I feel like if I was more athletic and could have played sports, I'd make a great
I feel this. I'm hearing some Michael Jordan type energy coming from you,
fire.
man.
I'm not here to smile up with. Nah, bro. After we're done work, we can smile up.
Fair.
Yeah.
But that speaks to the work ethic, right?
It's bro. You know what I've found? What I've found, and I get passionate when I talk about this. This success leaves clues, and successful people have some of the same traits. No matter. That's why I was saying, if you remember earlier, I said the what. People say, "What do I have to do?"
Yeah,
it's not about the what, because success has a certain like I was talking about when I met Jeremy, that fire in his belly, that desire, that hunger. Yep. Success, regardless of the what you do, is the same. It's the same traits.
Yep.
Right. Like
it's transferable.
LeBron doesn't become a champion in the game, right? On the court, like it's what he does in the practice gym. It's
Yeah.
how he lives his life, right?
Yeah.
It's the everyday approach. It's like when
True.
you get up out of bed in the morning, what do you do, right? Like
Right.
like I had a young guy that I used to teach. He got a big gig now, right? And
Okay.
he's like every day he's asking me questions about the console. I'm like, you didn't go to the training that they had the other day?
Right.
Yeah, training. Digico just did 2 days of intensive training. You weren't there? He's like, yeah, but I don't remember a lot of it. I was like,
Oh boy.
when you talk about what is going to getting the gig is the easy part. Keeping the gig,
It's the hard part.
that's you're gonna have to figure out this work thing,
Wow.
bro. Like you're
Yep.
gonna have to figure out the work thing, the approach, and the desire, the hunger. You're gonna have to figure that out. I can't
God.
teach that, right? So when
Yeah.
when people say, "What do you look for in somebody that you're gonna mentor?" I look for that. I look for all the
Yeah.
qualities that make a winner. I can teach you how to mix. I can teach you how to use a console.
Right.
I can't teach you to want it. I can't teach you to have work ethic. I can't teach you to have desire and hunger. I can't teach you
My
that.
God.
I can't teach you intensity. You either have that or you don't.
My God.
Amen.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have
Oh,
to
I forgot you weren't
have to
preaching. My
look-
God.
You have to look in the mirror. You have to be able to look
Well,
in the mirror and fire yourself up.
My God. Let me tell you something, man. If you were using that cheap mic that Dariki's using, I'd say just drop it right now.
Relax.
I can't drop this
It's a
mic.
full
This mic
circle. It's a
is-
full circle thing, man.
My
My God. The guy went in hard preaching.
But
Wow.
I mean, that's it, man, and that's the
That's big.
same. You know, the good thing is that people can listen to the DNA airwaves and understand that this conversation is not just about music. You
Yeah.
want to be a great
Mindset.
architect? It's going to be the same mindset. It's going to
Yep.
be the same
Right,
qualities. You want to
My
go be
gosh.
a great business manager at a bank? It's going to be the same. You want to be a great
in here.
mortgage broker?
Yeah.
Listen, you don't need any of this. Is the disclaimer. You don't need
Okay.
any of this if all you want to do is show up to a 9 to 5 and do what you're told to do. You don't need any of these qualities. But if you have some sort of passion about something that you want to turn into a business or a lifestyle, then this is what you're going to need.
Absolutely.
You can
Yeah.
figure out
Sometimes
the what.
pointing it out to kids.
Yeah.
Pointing it out to kids. Some of the things you see in them, some of the good positive
Yeah,
traits.
yeah.
Even the hustlers on the streets. Those skills are transferable
Bro.
to, something legitimate.
Life.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The best
Just
drug
showing
dealer,
them
the
these
best
things.
drug dealer right now has the same qualities. You and
absolutely.
you and
That's
him,
exactly
you
what I'm
and
saying.
you and
Yeah.
him or her can sit down at a table and find commonality in your desire
Right.
to win and your drive
Right.
and your
Right.
work ethic. I can
Just
guarantee it.
Use those skills for
God.
something different.
I can
Exactly.
guarantee it because it's the same skills that put Bill Gates where he is. It's
Yeah.
the same
Right.
skills that put Steve Jobs where he is. It's the same skills that put Ambani, a telecom guy, and all the way in Mumbai,
Yeah.
India. It's the same.
Yeah,
It's the same transferable
thing.
skills
Amen.
that and the same drive and the same work ethic and the same desire and the same passion.
Yeah,
What changes
absolutely.
is the same reason why Michael Jordan is who he is. Same reason why LeBron James is who he is.
Right.
Right?
Right,
It doesn't. You can't teach that stuff. That's the
That's true.
intangibles.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
that's the it. That's what I was watching. Obviously, huge soccer fan. Watching the Copa America finals, and
Yeah.
Messi gets injured, and he is bawling his eyes out like a
Right,
child.
yeah.
Like how my kids are when I tell them they can't get candy.
Like, yeah.
Worse than
Right.
like because he's not
That's
in
how
the
much
game.
it means.
That's
to
how
him.
much it
Yeah.
means.
His
That's
life.
Cristiano Ronaldo, the same thing. Misses
His
a
life.
penalty
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
balls
Yeah,
his
yeah,
eyes
yeah.
out. Like
Yeah.
it's the
Right.
end of
Does
the
it
world.
mean so
These guys
much
have
to them.
already done everything, bro. They've already won
Yeah.
everything. But every
Yeah.
single time they get a chance to step on the field, it's everything or nothing. Right?
Jeez,
And
yep.
that's me. Every time I step behind a console,
I hear it.
it's
I
not
hear
just
it.
another show. It's not
is it.
just it's not just this is it. It's all or nothing today. We win or we don't. Like there's no second place. There is no
That's true.
there's no
Yeah.
third place, right? You know, and that's the difference between the elites, to use the soccer analogy, right?
Yep.
You take Argentina who wins the Copa America. They went there to win the Copa America. Right?
Yep.
It was that
Right.
or nothing.
Yep, yep.
Then you look
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Canada, they're like, hey man, we finished third or finished fourth.
We did well.
We're
Yeah.
top four in our first Copa. Different energy.
Yeah.
Different energy.
And it reminds me of when Kobe, there's a classic interview of Kobe asking him, why aren't you smiling? Why aren't you happy? And he's like, job's not done. We're not done. Yeah, we're great for the win, but job's not done.
Still got work to do.
Those greats, sometimes there's a level of psychoticness that comes with it, but that drive, whatever drives them, like you said about Messi and Ronaldo, they're in it. It's be great or don't do it at all.
Right.
And
that's what keeps you going through the moments like we talked about earlier of wanting to quit. Like after episode 5, when you go, yo, listen, I don't know about this. We only had 5 viewers. I don't know about this, right? Yeah. But you decide to go again. Why? Because you have this fire in you of this is we're gonna do this or we're not gonna do it at all.
Shut up in my bone.
Why?
That's right.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's definitely worth listening to a couple times. Full of gems, jam packed, and I love what you said. It's so true. No, I mean, if you don't want to listen, if you don't want to be better, then you're wasting time listening. But man, like I love what you said because it's so transferable. We didn't even really talk about engineering or mixing or anything technical or even really music, but the mind, the passion, the heart, the drive, the work ethic, and I think that those are the things that we don't talk about enough. We see social media, we see what everyone's doing, we see what everyone's trying to do, we see all these shortcuts, we see how you edit this and do this and make this look this way, but it's the work ethic. That's what it really comes down to, the passion and the work. So keep doing what you're doing, man. You're a great example to us and to everybody else. I'm glad that, you're from Toronto by way of Jamaica first, but I'm glad that you're one of us and you're representing us and yourself and your family in such a huge way. It would be a shame for us to let you go without telling people how they could find you. This interview will probably boost your social media up at least one follower. So shout that out. Shout that out, please.
Yo, big up the one follower. Say it? God, yeah. At engineer_Redz, Redz, is where you can find me on. I mean, it's pretty much Instagram nowadays.
That's it, right?
Use anything else. I ain't on TikTok.
Keep it simple. You're not doing the dance moves. No.
Yeah, definitely not. So yeah, at engineer_Redz, and if you are wherever you are, if you're in Toronto, you want to check out this Marley Brothers Legacy Tour. We're going to be at Budweiser stage in November, and then I'm going to be back at Scotiabank Arena with Maverick City a few weeks after that. So.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm going to be on the Maverick City Tour. If you're wherever you are in America, I'm sure we have shows close by. So check out Marley Brothers Legacy on Ticketmaster, Live Nation, wherever you buy tickets. And then Maverick City Good News Tour. I'm going to be back on that too.
Beautiful, man. That's beautiful. Always, I feel like it's been way too long since we spoke last. Hopefully, the gap in between. I know you're a busy man, but we can get another hour of your time to chat and laugh and be inspired again, man. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you as always. And until next time, everybody, stay.
Give us your finest Jamaican goodbye right here. Your finest patois.
Yeah, big up on yourself, see? Yeah, I feel like you guys didn't have the truck horn ready.
Where did he go? He did his horn and his bounce?
He was like,
he dropped the mic?